Hello, my name is Rachel Atwell, and I'm here out at the Caswell Research Station in Kinston, North Carolina, and I'm here in an organic canola field. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about integrative pest management and the PAMS approach, and how this can be applied to controlling dieback, stem rot, in canola. So, prevention and avoidance are very important components of controlling this disease. For prevention, one option to get rid of inoculum is to use soil solarization during the summer for 4 to 6 weeks using clear plastic. But often in North Carolina, the canola would be ran in a rotation with a summer cash crop, and this may not be an option, so producers may have to look for an alternative approach. Another option is to destroy canola residue after harvest rather than letting it lay on the field, because this residue is a source for inoculum and will remain in the soil until the following canola crop or another susceptible crop that you decide to grow. Now, avoidance is a very important tool to reduce occurrence of this disease. Dieback stem rot thrives in cool, moist conditions. So if you could try to plant your canola crop in a field that is less prone to wet conditions and has good soil drainage, that would be a pretty effective method of trying to prevent the disease. Also, you would not try to grow canola in a field that has been planted to winter legumes, cabbage, or canola for the past 2 winters, and that will help reduce inoculum. It's critically important that when you're working with canola and this disease, that you monitor your fields for presence of the disease. Once this disease is spread from plant to plant through direct plants touching each other, so if you are monitoring on a regular basis, you can remove infected plants before they have an opportunity to infect their neighbors. Finally, in this canola, which is an organic situation, contans is an option for a biological control agent to control this disease, and that would be a form of suppression and a biological approach to that.
This is Matthew Vann, Tobacco Extension Specialist at North Carolina State University, and he's going to tell us a few ways to use integrative pest management and the PAMS approach to managing tobacco mosaic virus in greenhouses.
The tobacco mosaic virus is an extremely contagious virus which once introduced into a greenhouse situation with young tobacco transplants can spread rapidly. In the tobacco production world, we use a number of different ways to combat this extremely dangerous virus. We use resistant varieties, which have the hypersensitive response, so once the virus is introduced to cell tissue, immediate cell death occurs, thus preventing the virus from spreading. We also discourage the use of tobacco products such as cigars, cigarettes, snuff, and chew in the tobacco greenhouses because the virus can be transmitted through the use of tobacco products. We encourage workers and producers that do consume tobacco products to thoroughly wash their hands with either whole wet milk or a powdered water milk in the event they do handle tobacco products. There are no chemicals that can control this virus, so we do promote the integrated pest management practices of weed-free greenhouse systems and weed-free systems outside of the greenhouse. There are certain weed species that can harbor this virus and ultimately spread it. We also discourage the use of tobacco float trays that were known to harbor tobacco transplants which were infected with the tobacco mosaic virus. If greater than 20% of a greenhouse in a previous year was affected, we encourage producers to discard or throw away these trays and purchase new ones. So again, just a few ways we can combat tobacco mosaic virus in a greenhouse system.
Thank you, Matthew.
My name is Dexter Tillett. I'm with Agri-Science Opportunities in Durham, North Carolina. We use a lot of methods for pest management. Our first method is prevention. The way we prevent pests is consistent monitoring of our cows every single day with our employees. We make sure their stalls are clean, the cows themselves are clean, and the area that they're grazing is clean. To avoid any pests, we give them Clarifly, which is a pill that makes it so that the breeding in the manure for flies is impossible. And to monitor the pest management, we do it consistently every single day and have a one-on-one interaction with our Holsteins. The Holsteins really respect the interaction and the relationship that you have with them, and actually they become pretty fond of you. To suppress the pests, we do that on a consistent basis every single day. If you don't do it on a consistent basis, the pests can come back into the Holstein's life and you have to start all over again. Hope my information was valuable, and thank you.
Bed bugs are a problem that have been traditionally associated with overcrowded or not very clean areas, maybe lower income housing or the third world. However, over the past few years, we've seen a resurgence in bed bug infestations in even the nicest hotels or communities. Some of the factors that we attribute this to include increased globalization and more movement between populations, a reduced supply of the pesticides which were traditionally effective for treating bed bugs because of health concerns. Because we've seen bed bugs in a whole new array of areas where traditionally we might not have, bed bug treatment is a fairly involved process which requires several different applications of a variety of treatments. You have chemical treatments which are traditional but will not be fully effective. They need to be combined with a heat treatment possibly or a thorough steam cleaning. The most effective way to treat for bed bugs would be to use a combined chemical application with a thorough heating, raising the temperature of the abode above 135 or 140 degrees for an extended period of time. During this time you need to remove anything from you need to remove all clothing, you need to open up any cabinets, any drawers. The clothing should be washed and then dried at high heat. It should be bagged immediately and removed from the premises, stored in a location where you have no fear of spreading the bed bugs, but ideally at this point the clothes will be clean. You need to remove any electronics, anything that's going to suffer at that high heat, and once you begin that process, there should be a thorough vacuuming, all the corners, edges, crevices. Infested mattresses should be disposed of. They can be treated, but it's risky. You might still have an infestation there, so it should be gotten rid of, and a new mattress should be covered with a bed bug resistant cover, which is sold at many hardware stores. There are several steps you can take as a homeowner to prevent bed bug infestations. The first is having a clean, clutter-free living space. The second is cleaning regularly, vacuuming at least once a week. Third, make sure to wash your linens and bedding on a regular basis, every 1 to 2 weeks. And when you return from a trip, even staying at a friend's house, make sure that you wash everything thoroughly. Make sure that you separate your belongings from your other things until you make sure that they're thoroughly clean. While there are chemical and non-chemical controls which are effective for treating bed bugs, biological controls have not shown to be a very effective solution, primarily because the threshold levels for biological control in these situations is too high to meet the living standards of most people. These biological controls would result in the presence of ants or roaches, which obviously the majority of people do not find acceptable.